Hey everybody, so good to connect with you. So if I could tell every woman that has suffered betrayal trauma one simple truth, it would be this: your healing is not dependent on his recovery. That's it. Your healing is not dependent on his recovery because his choices wounded you. Yes, that's absolutely true, but his choices can't heal you. And I think this is specifically a space where many of us get it wrong. We think because the pain came through that door, that the healing must come through that door as well. And for men watching, your wife's pain doesn't define you. The fact that she's super, super hurt does not define who you are. But her pain will reveal the parts of you that still needs redemption, that still needs healing, that still needs you to take responsibility. Your worth is ultimately determined in your relationship with God. So absolutely, it means that there's stuff that you have to work on. Yeah, but it doesn't define who you are. So here at Grace Online, we don't do couples recovery in the traditional sense. We have massive, massive help available for couples. But we focus on personal resurrection first, to revive and to resurrect that person who has been buried beneath the guilt and the shame. So porn use doesn't begin in a marriage. Maybe I must say that again. Porn use does not begin in the marriage. And this is important to understand because most men would blame their wives. You weren't sexual enough, or whatever. So they hint at the fact that maybe the marriage is the cause of this behavior, but it's not. It's a lie. Most men start long before they even met their wives. Absolute fact. Most men started years before they even met their wives. So this means that this isn't a marriage problem. It is the problem for the marriage. It's a personal wound that later infected the relationship. So it's not a marriage problem in the sense that it emanated from the relationship, from the lack of intimacy. The intimacy in the relationship is destroyed because of the porn use. So porn addiction does not come from love. The source of pornography addiction is not a loving relationship. It's the target of it. It targets the loving relationship. So recovery can't start inside the marriage dynamic. And this may not make sense to many people. But the marriage is not where the sickness began. It's not the cause of it. The relationship is the victim. It's the thing that's been hurt, that's been impacted by the pornography. It's not the cause. So if the relationship is not the cause, healing does not start in the marriage. It does not come from that space. And that's where everybody goes for marriage counseling when there's a porn problem. But marriage counseling hardly ever works because that's not the source of the porn problem. I don't know how to say this better. The marriage is not the source of the porn problem. It's not. It's not because it's not. It's not. So healing has to start individually and separately. So we have 2 or 3 distinct divisions at GraceOnline. We've got the men's recovery program, and then we've got the Women of Worth program, the women's recovery program, and then we have a couples program. So the men's program exists to help the men heal. The wives program exists to help the wives heal. But in the background, we work both divisions towards the common goal, which is to restore the relationship. We want the individuals to find identity, peace, and safety in God again, individually. Okay, very important. The men learn to face themselves in this process. The 5 P's, you remember: pain, presence, protection, provision, and purpose. We help men to face themselves, their pain, the temptation, the disconnection, not to become perfect, but to become present. They have to face their pain so that they can become present, so that they can protect, so that they can provide, so that they can fulfill their purpose. Go write the 5 P's down. You'll find massive revelation in that. I promise you. It's something that I found from God. I discovered my relationship with God. And the women in the program learn to rebuild their inner world, that inner space that's been shattered. They learn to find their worth outside of his choices. Women learn to speak the truth again. They learn how to trust their discernment instead of doubting at that still small voice, that sixth sense. So Galatians 6 verse 5 says each one should try. No, not should try. It does not say each one should try to carry their own load. It says each one should carry their own load. So couples can't carry each other's loads together. We individually responsible. And if you are carrying your own load, that's not selfishness. It's sacred. I always tell the men, your addiction was selfish, and maybe you won't like what I'm saying now. Please forgive me or hear me out. Just hear me out. So your addiction was selfish because you put yourself last. You never valued yourself. That's why you did what you did. So recovery must be selfish as well. Oh my gosh, Kenneth, you told people to be selfish. Recovery must be selfish in the most beneficial way possible. And this works phenomenally. And the scripture is love your neighbor like yourself. So learn to love yourself. Learn to place yourself first. You and God first. There's a recovery saying that says the first thing you place above recovery is the second thing that you will lose. Recovery should be one of your top priorities. If it's got the potential to destroy your kids, your wife, your career, your spiritual life, then the opposite of addiction, which is recovery, has to be very, very important. Two broken people, two people won't learn to walk on their own legs ever again if they can't learn to walk by themselves. If two people with broken legs try and help each other walk, it's just going to be a mess. So first, find your own legs, and then do that in a way that would benefit your partner, but do it for yourself first. Hope this makes sense. So when both people start to heal separately, something extraordinary begins to happen. Husband starts to prove himself. He's not just making empty promises again. His behavior is changing. He's starting to do the things that he's supposed to be doing, that he was supposed to be doing from day one. He starts fighting for her heart instead of defending his behavior all the time. The wife starts to feel safe again. Not because her husband's perfect, but because she's becoming strong. And when those two stories finally meet together, we bring them into our couples team, the third leg, not to fix what's broken anymore, but to enhance what's already been rebuilt. I hope this makes sense. It's not super difficult. So Psalm 51 verse 10 says, create in me a clean heart, O God. I remember something called a breath prayer. So breath prayers work like this, and this was my breath prayer. So you take a deep breath in, and then you go, on your exhale, you go, create in me a clean heart, O God, renew a steadfast spirit within me. And then you take a deep breath again. So you'll later on, if you repeat that process over and over again, every time you exhale, you say your breath prayer, which is timed to a verse of scripture. If you do that long enough, breathing becomes praying. Isn't that powerful? Anyway, that's besides the point. So So when we allow God to build in us, create in me, singular, a clean heart, oh God, that's when we build towards two clean hearts. When two individuals ask for healing um, for themselves, then we can only be whole again. If two hearts are whole, then there can be one renewed connection and a marriage that doesn't just survive anymore. A marriage that's thriving depends on two whole individuals. So I've seen many men who were emotionally unavailable for years that has learned to love again and learn to feel again. You have to learn to feel again before you learn to love again. You need to connect with yourself. You can't cry, you can't pray properly, you can't connect properly if you can't be connected to yourself. And I've seen many, like hundreds of women, maybe thousands, definitely thousands, who once couldn't breathe because of the massive, heavy weight of pain and shame that rested on their shoulders. And then even people like that becoming leaders, becoming voices, becoming healers for others. Hurt people. So healed people bring healing to people as well. And when those two finally come together, it's not a reunion of brokenness. It's a partnership. It's a partnership of power. Yes, that's what I want. This is what I want for lives. And this is the enemy's strategy. The enemy's strategy is to divide and conquer, but God's strategy is to infiltrate and change. So the mission of this army here is to infiltrate the hearts and to bring change from the inside. In exactly the same space where the enemy tried to divide and conquer, bring division between husband and wife, bring division between husband and kids, but bring division between mom and kid, between husband and God, between wife and God, between husband and community, wife and community. Very, very, very powerful. So this week's focus has been on the woman because when women start to heal, families start to shift. When 10 women find healing for themselves, 10 families will start to shift. 10 marriages get a chance to breathe again. So if you're watching this, you may be exactly the spark that God has called to ignite healing in your home. And this won't happen by you putting your focus on him and fixing him. It starts with you finding yourself again. So this week we are opening up 10 spaces for new ladies to join the Women of Worth program. Right now, I've had lots of inquiries throughout this week. If you've been watching all week and something deep inside of you is stirring and it's saying, I cannot live like this anymore. My moeg is moeg. I need to start somewhere to get out of this, then please do reach out to me. This invitation is then your sign. Please send me a DM that says I'm ready, and we'll guide you through every step of the process as tenderly and as sensitively as possible, because healing starts in one heart at a time. When you heal, you invite your husband to start fighting for your heart. Yeah. So the world tells you to wait for him to change. But we will teach you, GraceOnline teaches you to start where God already stands, and that is with you. And when you heal, your voice becomes the invitation to his freedom. Thanks for listening to me today. It's been a pleasure and a privilege as always.